advocacies come together. Una siyang among gina-focus.
May pag-asa po ba kaya ang PBA party list sa takbo ngayon ng mga kaganapan?
Of course, yes. Of course meron. Kasi syempre naman, being the only party list for athletes and artists, then it is logical na that the Committee on Health or the Committee on Sports can be headed by the PBA party list. But of course, there's also seniority, diba? Na yung mga seniority. So if they say na, well, you are freshman, mag-vice chairman ka muna, pwede naman din yan. It does not change the effort or the
yung vote mo, yung boses mo sa committee.
Yes,
parang ganun din.
Precisely. So, magtrabaho pa rin kami at the same time. And that's okay.
Ang sunod ko namang tanong, tungkol naman dun sa limit. Meron bang limit ang bawat isang congressman sa dami ng committee na pwede niyang hawakan?
Not that I know of. Pero siguro naman they should set their own limits kasi kadami mga meeting yan. You know, a membership of any committee means that you have to review all of the laws that are referred, all the bills that are referred to that committee and
Ang
all
budget
of that work.
yata. Ang budget ay nasa committee din, di ba? Para bawat budget na hihingin ng executive.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. So, of course, pagdating sa budget, yung overall is Committee on Appropriations. So,
pag madami kang committee, mahirap yata yan. Pakinggan mo lahat.
Yes. It would be very difficult to be physically present in every committee meeting. Kay kadaming mga committee na nag-meeting sabay-sabay. So you cannot do that na you'll attend to all of your obligations na
yung kabaligtaran
magpadala ka lang ng representative and every single time. Mahirap yan.
Yung baliktad naman ang tanong, posible po ba na ang kongresista walang committee?
Committee on Silence.
Nangyayari ba yan?
Meron mga tamad. Meron ding mga tamad.
At ito sa sunod na itong segment sa itong Kalamboan Dala Tanan na Congressman Nograles, atong pag-isgutan, kabayan sab sa gingon na itong possible legislative agenda ni President-elect Rody Duterte base sa ihang campaign pronouncement. Kining ato pag-sugdan itong gingon nga federalism. So, sa ba yung role sa Congress kabahin ni Congressman Nograles?
Well, first of all, you cannot change our system of government without changing the Constitution. And we only have 3 modes of changing the Constitution. Either by referendum, by constituent assembly, or constitutional convention. So, if the President delivers in his State of the Nation address and formalizes his intent to go into federalism, that is a signal for charter change. So sa atong charter change, we're going to shift from a republican system of government to a parliamentary federalism form of government. And that is what we're looking at. And I believe this is a very exciting time. Because we have this opportunity to at least discuss the pros and cons of this. And this will be a good opportunity for us to revisit the 1986 Constitution on how it was created.
Sir, hayaan nyo lang akong linawin para doon sa mga nanonood. Maski Presidente gusto niya baguhin ng gobyerno natin, magiging federalismo na, kailangan niya yatang kausapin pa rin ng Congress. Dahil kayo ang magsasabi na magko-con-con na tayo. Hindi siya, hindi executive order, hindi decree.
Yes, that is correct.
So,
that is correct.
Kayo ang tatawag ng inisyatibo para...
He can initiate it, but it is Congress ultimately that would go through the Committee on Constitutional Revisions.
So it will be a law passed by Congress precisely calling for a change of the Constitution.
Yes, precisely. There were many attempts to do that previously. They're talking about term extensions. They're talking about changing the constitutional provisions when it comes to economic restrictions alone, or changing the legislative section only. But and all of those have not pushed through. Wala siya talaga naka-take off. So karon murag na tay chance, and it's very exciting. Let's see how Congress will view whatever proposal that will be given to Congress on this one.
Sa inyo pong sariling kaalaman, Congressman Coco Nograles, so ano bang mga benepisyo ng makakamit sa ilalim ng federalism, Congressman?
Ako personally, I believe in federalism. Okay. Mainly because our constitution and the way that we are as a people, we're very tribal in a sense, or very regionalistic in a sense.
Parochial?
Parochial as well. And we are very proud to call ourselves na mga taga Davao, and taga Cebu, taga Zamboanga, Ilocano, mga Ilonggo. And that alone calls na representation in the government should be equitable. And federalism is one of the possible solutions of equitable representation in the government. And if you have equitable representation sa government, baka pwede pa tayo maka-equitable budgeting from the government also. Can you imagine if every region, just as an example, every region naatay senador, and that senator, his or her job is to make sure that public services will reach his region. And that is a very good plan. Because I don't think we've had a senator from Region 11 since the time of Almendras, of the late Senator Landring Almendras.
Which was 1960s,
70s,
68.
60s, no? 60s and 70s. After that, we don't have a senator anymore. In fact, in this coming 17th Congress, we have Mig Zubiri and Coco Pimentel.
Manny Pacquiao.
And Manny Pacquiao.
Manny Pacquiao.
We have 3 out of 24 members of the Senate that are from Mindanao. And I don't think that's equitable distribution.
Ang sinasabi niyo po sa federalismo, equitable na yan.
Well, how many regions do we have here in Mindanao? You've got the ARMM, you have Region 10, no? You have Region 11, you have Region 12.
So sigurado na.
If 2 per region, edi we have 8 senators from Mindanao if we divide it that way.
So, yun yung sinabi niyo, no, yung mga benepisyo ng federalismo. Pupunta naman ako sa kabila.
Okay.
For critical discussion, ano naman ang disadvantages ng federalism? Sisimulan ko dun sa mga nababasa ko at nadidinig ko.
Okay.
Yan daw magpapalawak ng mga dynasty pag ginawang federalismo ang gobyerno natin.
Well, first of all, dynasties have not been determined by law just yet. So there is no actual legal definition of what a dynasty is. But to answer that practically, yes, that's possible. That's possible. But then, you go back to Charles de Gaulle. Sinasabi niya na people deserve the government that they elect. So if they get elected, that is the voice of the people.
So kung gusto nila puro gano'n na pamilya na yan, wala tayong magagawa doon.
Wala tayong magagawa doon.
Tungkol naman po dun sa batikos na sinasabi ni Speaker Belmonte, dahil nabasa ko din, na ang sabi niya, ang kawawa daw sa federalismo, yung mga naghihirap na mga riyon, ay lalong maghihirap. Ang makikinabang lang daw, yung mga mayayaman na riyon, na sa federalismo, lalong yayaman.
I think that's a premature statement. So, federalism has not been tested. And as far as we know, we have, as a nation, we have elected a president because we want change. So I think the people, right now, the temperament of the people is that they're willing to try some change.
So, ang susunod kong tanong, Congressman Coco, naniniwala ba kayo na magkakaroon talaga ng mainitan na pagtatalo sa federalismo?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely mainit na discussion yan. And it's not just because of federalism. It is because you're touching the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines. If you can touch it, you can touch one portion of it, you can touch everything. So that is the number one danger. And that is why most of the time na gina-push talaga nila na mag-charter change in previous administration, hindi siya nag-fly kay the people need a certain level of trust towards the government na hindi lang pataka lang na gobyerno na change na yan. So
Mainit ba yan, Congressman? Maski sabihin na may tinatawag na super majority ang gobyerno ni President-elect Duterte sa House?
At the end of the day, it's the people that will be monitoring all of the moves also. Remember, it is the people, it is the Republic of the Philippines who placed people in Congress, who placed people in the executive department. And that debate for federalism or constitutional change goes well beyond the halls of Congress. Meron yan, constituents yan eh. Kung galit yung constituents na magsabi, ay, ayaw namin na i-change this portion of the Constitution, it is the job of the congressman to listen to his constituents.
Sa Senado, kasali din po ba sila sa usapin na to? Pag halimbawa pinag-usapan na itong pagpapalit ng Constitution, medyo wala yatang may problema pa yatang mayorya sa Senado hanggang sa ngayon.
They will be part of it.
So,
They will be part of it. You are looking at the legislation composed of two co-equal parts of houses, the upper house and the lower house, or the Senate and the House. So it will be very exciting times. So it's possible na, kunyari, makapasa yan sa Congress, pagdating sa Senate, baka upuan nila. Or malay mo, push through yan lahat. You'll never know.
Murag nagkainit na gyud ang atong mga discussion sa hindi ko mapanaw na diri sa atong Kalamboan Dala Tanan ug ang gyapon ni Ver Bermudez ug ni Congressman-elect Coco Nograles. Balikan ta sa duga pa mga pinagto. Kalamboan Dala Tanan.
I am Mrs. Connie R. Gonzalez, a senior citizen president of Lor Vizca. Karlo, from the beginning up to the end, he is our benefactor, supporter of the senior citizens of Barangay Baliok. Wherever we are, whatever we ask, he will give us. What I am going to say now is congratulations, anak Karlo.
Ako dahil si Chelo Cañares sa Barangay Baugaliera. Congratulations ko Congressman Coco Nograles and of course Congressman Karlo Nograles sa nakabot na ito ang kadaugan, ninyo nga kadaugan ni atong nilabay ng eleksyon.
Congressman Karlo Nograles, ako si Esther Bustamante, ang imuang tita Esther. Dako na ko ang pagarbo nga ikaw nahimo gihapon namong congressman diri sa Bagugalera. Unta magpadayon ang imuhang pag-atiman sa amuha diri sa Bago og ihatag pa og ibubo pagyud dinhi sa amuha ang imuhang mga hinabang labi na to nang hinanglan nga mga tawo nga mga indigent diri sa amuha. Salamat kay salamat ug congrats ug uban kang Kuko. Congrats usab siya nga nahimo na siya karon nga congressman. Congrats.
Kalamboan Dala Tanan. Okay lang, balik na diri sa ato Kalamboan Dala Tanan. O siyempre mga pangutana nga ito kang Congressman-elect Coco Nograles. Matod pa gani sa campaign spokesman, President-elect Duterte nga ang idea is for Congress nga kining panawagan nga Constitutional Convention or CONCON election in 2019.
Okay.
So ang election sa federal government officials sa 2022 o 2022. So pwede ba nimong ma-explain ang maong paagi Congressman Coco nga gipalutaw?
I guess that's one of the roadmaps na gipresenta during the campaign that if it was the constitutional convention form, then they will do an election na sabay sa national election. So you have your national election candidates as well as the constitutional convention candidates na magsabay na nasa 2019. But there's also other ways of doing it, which is through the Constituent Assembly, where Congress itself will convene as a constitutional assembly. And it would be Congress that will change the Constitution in whole or in part. Ang direction, technically, hindi pa yan gibigay ni President-elect Duterte. We are hoping that he will give the direction or the vision at least in his first State of the Nation address.
Sa July 25.
Sa July 25. Mauna siya ang among ginahulat. But CONCON is an option. Whether the new government or the constitution will be changed and ratified through plebiscite or referendum or whatever, we don't know. At this point in time, we are all ears, we are all waiting for what is the plan, what is the direction. That's why exciting ang atong upcoming first SONA ni President-elect Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Palawakin ko lang ng konti itong usapin na yan, Congressman Coco. No? Yung CONCON, mag-i-election yan para tumawag ng mga delegado
Yes.
na magiging CONCON.
Yes.
Yung CONAS, yung kayo ng congressman mismo, ang parang CONCON.
Yes.
Wala nang, ang CONCON magiging another separate entity yan na ang gagawin lang baguhin ang Constitution.
Yes.
Kaya ang sinasabi nila nga, mas mahal yan, magastos yan.
Yes, that is one of the biggest questions always in Congress. How would you do that? How would you execute any proposal? Where will you get the funds to execute that proposal? That's why I am also open to CONAS because you already have the delegates. You have already elected the delegates. At least that is the theory. Na you are representing, as members of Congress, you are representing the country in part and in whole.
Pero didiretsuhin ko na ho kayo, Congressman Coco. Kasi ang sinasabi ng mga ng mga manunulat at saka ng mga iba sa publiko, yung CONAS hindi yata yan masyadong pinagkakatiwalaan dahil parang mababa daw ang credibility ng mga kongresista. Siguro naman itong papasok na Congress wala pang basihan. Ano tingin niyo?
Well, that really would depend. You know, let's listen to what everybody has to say first before we'll render any judgment. Now, yung mga opinion na ganyan, i-hold muna natin yung mga opinion. I think that it would be a little premature to give those opinion. Let's listen to what the president wants to say, how he wants to say it, and then let's see how we will all react as a nation, whether ang pulso ng tao, gusto ba ng CONAS, gusto ba ng CONCON, gusto ba na i-referendum. Yan yung gusto ko pang malaman, personally and
So
professionally.
ayaw niyo magbigay ng sarili niyong opinion?
Not at this point. Not at this point. I think it's premature. Ako, I'd like to give an opinion, but ang feeling ko ngayon is that it's too premature to do that. I'd like to know exactly ano yung plano. Ayoko namang unahin ang sasabihin ni President-elect. I want to listen to what he has to say.
So kung may gusto kaming iparating sa'yo, pe-Facebook kami sa PBB.
Oh, naman.
Sabihin namin, tingin namin, pangit yan.
Meron naman, gawa tayo ng poll. Gawa tayo ng opinion poll dyan.
Congressman Coco, kayo po ba ay nananalig na may papatupad ang federalismo sa lalong madaling panahon at bakit po?
It's possible na mapasa siya. And it really depends on the debate. Ako, ang expectation ko, mainit talaga ang debate na ito. That is for one, mainit ang debate. Whether mapasa ba na mag-change tayo ng constitution, yan ang question mark. Because that is, that really depends on the guidance and the execution of the leadership of the House of Representatives on how to shepherd the debates in Congress, on how to convince members of Congress by both the leadership, by the members themselves, as well as the constituencies. Kung yun ba talaga yung gusto ng tao. Marami pang pwede mangyari kasi, Saldi. And that's why, ginasabi ko na maaga pa masyado yung mga opinion na yan. Ako, gusto ko sana imbitahin nyo ako ulit after the SONA. Imbitahin niyo ako after the SONA. We'll talk about it and then basahin natin anong mga initial reactions dun sa SONA and then we'll see. Mas maganda yung usapan natin, makita natin, sinabi ni Presidente, ganito. Himayin natin yan. Every single statement will be a powerful statement. And we have to reflect on that, bring it back to our constituents, talk to our colleagues, feel the opinion, feel the pulse, and then yan ang i-report natin sa taong bayan kung ano bang feeling doon. Ganito ba ang pag-change ng constitution natin? Kasi right now, ang sitwasyon natin is we are basing everything in the campaign and press release. And sa campaign and press release, hindi pa siya detalyado eh. And for me, mahirap na mag-comment or mag-form ng opinion for such a big matter kung hindi pa kumpleto yung plano. I'd like to hear the plan. I'd like to see the plan. I want to hear the plan. And then i-discuss natin, will this be good for our nation? And that's what I'm waiting for.
So hinihintay niyo si President-elect Duterte
Yes.
na kausapin kayo sa SONA sa
Yes.
July 25.
Yes.
Babalik kayo
And I
dito
think-
sa amin
yes.
para ipaliwanag niyo sa amin
Ay,
kung
salamat.
ano yung tingin niyo.
Salamat, imbitahin niyo ako ulit.
Saldi, Congressman Coco, iwanan muna natin sandali ang federalismo. Alam ko, mainit yan. Pero meron pang isang mas mainit din na usapin sa mga plataforma ni President-elect Duterte
Okay.
na sinabi niya yung kampanya, yung death penalty.
Okay.
Ang tanong ko po, tingin niyo po ba magiging mainit din ang usapin ng death penalty pagdating nito sa Kongreso? Ililegalize na yata yung death squad. Ganun po ba yan? Basta ang sabi, gawin ang legal yung death penalty.
Hindi ko alam dyan sa death squad na yan.
Hindi sa chamber, ba? Sila yung mag-ooperate niyan.
No.
So, ano po ang tingin niyo?
Well, again, I'd like to hear what he has to say about it. But generally speaking, ako, my opinion I don't think that the death penalty is a deterrent to crime. I think crime will occur with or without the death penalty. And I'd like to see ano ba tong death penalty na to at para saan? Hanggang saan ba tong death penalty na to? But the biggest question is it a deterrent? Is it used as a deterrent or just purely as a punishment?
Congressman Coco, you personally believe that this should be discussed not along party lines?
Yes.
Death
Oh,
penalty.
naman.
Mas
Oh,
gusto niyo
naman.
pag-usapan to based on individuality ng congressman?
Honestly speaking, I think any law in Congress should not be discussed along party lines. Any law, any bill should not be. It should be discussed as members of Congress. Whether you're part of the minority or part of the majority, you belong to that party or not. And I have seen it. I have seen it when I served the 14th Congress that there are many bills on the floor that have crossed party lines talaga doon.
So, yung mga yung mga kongresista magkakanya-kanya sa tingin niyo dito sa usapin na ito.
They'll do their jobs. That they are one vote in a collegiate body.
Hindi ba pwedeng isipin na kaya niyo hindi kayo sasang-ayon sa death penalty, natatakot tayo sa boto ng simbahan? Alam naming lahat na ay salungat sa death penalty.
We know that the church is against the death penalty. That's automatic. And the church does belong to the constituency of the Republic of the Philippines. And it is our job to temper and to take the opinion and then to try to formulate the best laws we can, taking in everything into consideration. I know, like ako, personally speaking, death penalty as a deterrent, hindi ako naniniwala. Death penalty as a punishment, that is something that is worth debating.
Congressman Coco, ang susunod kong tanong, tungkol din to sa madalas na sinasabi ni President-elect Duterte noong kampanya na palagay ko ay pinakikinggang mabuti ng tao at palagay ko ay natatandaan ng mga taong bayan na sa loob ng 3 hanggang 6 na buwan, tatanggalin niya yung problema ng krimen, ng droga, ng korupsyon, at ang lumalabas ngayon, kailangan niya yung death penalty para may sagawa ito. Ano po ang take niyo dyan?
Well, I don't know if we can pass the death penalty within a span of 3 months, if it will be passed at all. So, medyo complex yung tanong mo na yan.
Oo, medyo complex talaga. Maski po ako nalilito sa sarili kong tanong.
But I think I am in full support of our President-elect to eliminate criminality within 3
You
to 6
think
months.
it's doable?
Why not?
You think it's doable without the death penalty?
Why not?
Do you think the president is really serious in giving us this crime-free, drug-free, and corruption-free society after 6 months?
He has to. That
Do you-
is his campaign promise.
Do you think he will resign if he will not be able to do that?
Yan yung hindi ko alam.
Okay, sabihin.
Masyado na.
Baka na kayo
Sana naman
mamutulad.
hindi. Sana naman hindi.
Kanina kasi may sinasabi din po siya na kung ma-deliver na din niya after 4 years, iba na namang version to.
Well, I think he was elected by the Republic of the Philippines, by the people of the Republic of the Philippines to serve 6 years, not 6 months.
Ayan, maliwanag na yan.
Kining Congressman Coco Nograles, usa sa mga diskutan to plataforma ni President-elect Duterte, ang the Mindanao Railway System. So, sa pagtabang sa Congress, nga ma-achieve gyud sa Duterte administration kining major project sa Congressman Coco?
Ang pag-budget sa Mindanao Railway System would have to come from Congress. So, you cannot start the Mindanao Railway System without the budgeting of Congress. So, I for one, happy jud ko na Mindanao Railway System plan. The first time I heard of the Mindanao Railway System was panahon pa ni FBR. And then it's designed to be a coastal system that will go around Mindanao. Kaya yung sa gitna, may bukid nun kaya, so mahirapan ka na mag-railway dyan. Unless mag-build ka ng tunnel na kalayo-layo, that will be a little difficult. But around Mindanao, that would be a very good...
Coastal area.
Yeah, coastal area. It's a great delivery system that would give a lot of energy and industry to a lot of places throughout Mindanao.
Teka lang, Saldi. Gusto ko lang tanongin kasi sana si Congressman Coco na papag-usapan tong railway. Nagsasakay daw kayo ng tren pag nandun kayo sa Manila.
Traffic eh.
Kasi madaming nagugulat yan. So, totoo po yan.
Totoo yan. So it's true. Kung I find it as one of the most practical way. Pero hirap ako sa MRT ha. Mas okay magsakay sa PNR kaysa sa MRT. Mas okay magsakay sa LRT kaysa sa MRT.
Bakit po?
There are more trains. There are more trains in the PNR. There are more trains in the LRT. Pero yung MRT, grabe. Hirap.
Yung PNR kasi, Saldi, yan yung nakasayad sa lupa. Yung MRT, yan yung
Up and down. But I think the MRT kasi, the problem was the contracts here in the Aquino administration.
kinulang yata sa tren.